Good morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Yes, I do, mate. Jerry, unfortunately. I hope the ones that joined me last night, thank you for that. It was just a bit of, we had our Christmas sort of night out type thing, and just it's good to give back to have a little bit of banter sometimes. But anyway, back to the Celtic news this morning. We're running a poll already. Who do you blame for the lack of goals at a Celtic? Is it the manager or is it the player? There's 10 votes, 14 votes in already, and 100% the players. And it's the manager that generally gets the stick. And the reason I'm asking that is there are members of the mainstream media who just will not let it drop with the narrative that the Celtic manager is still on the cusp of being sacked even though it's Christmas week. They're not laying off the manager at all. One interesting one is obviously Peter Martin, who broke the story of PLZ Soccer, that great, fantastic YouTube channel, with the worst. For the fact that they're professionals, all I'm going to say is what a diddy setup they've got. I don't like dismissing other creators, but they're professionals. You know, they are professionals. They're getting paid. But this was a good one in the comments. Peter, just highlight it here. Get rid of this. Peter, you're way too thin-skinned. He says you're not getting pelters because Celtic beat Aberdeen. You're getting pelters because you publicly lied. You lied publicly about a man's job to get a few likes and jumped on the bandwagon. This disgusting thing that you do, and the fact that you're doubling down on it says it all. Now, Peter Martin, who I think runs PLZ Soccer, says, and you think you know the truth. And you think you know the truth. If that's the case, I mean, if Peter Martin does have an inner source at Celtic Park, he's got an inner source that nobody else has. And I've got to say, this nonsense with the three of them on a sofa with this big TV screen behind them. I mean, it's just woeful. The camera positions and everything.
Live coding
And what was all
101
this
part
about?
3. Stop typing your prompts.
Get rid of your adverts.
Seriously.
Yeah,
prompting
seriously.
cursor. You know,
what was all that about? Have you told them? Peter Martin, come out and tell us. Have you told them? Is that a dig at Celtic to come out and tell them the truth? Or is it you just playing games? Because let's face it, I don't think anyone really knows what's going on at Celtic. And that camera angle, sorry guys, but for being a professional run studio that's doing YouTube, trying to be TV style YouTube, that is just a woeful setup. The camera angles are all terrible. You could almost say it's shite. Just say it as it is. But anyway, that's enough about them. Peter Martin used to work on Celtic TV. Yeah, he did years ago, but that doesn't give him any inside information. Because the current board, anybody that says that they know 100% what is going on at Celtic, outside Celtic, doesn't. Because I think that Celtic don't even know what Celtic are doing at the moment. And that's the reality. I think that there are people just flying by the seat of their pants at the moment, hoping that this Wilfred Nancy situation turns around and the manager goes on to have a fantastic Celtic career. There's probably people sitting in there going, please just work, please just work, please just work every single day. But anyway, he's the guy that's seemingly in the know, and these are professionals. I'm not. I'm just a YouTuber that just sits and does this for pure shits and giggles. Nowadays, he doesn't know a thing. Yeah, he doesn't. Well said, young man. Let's go back to the poll questions, because we've been through 3 managers now. Brendan Rodgers couldn't get the Celtic team firing at all at the beginning of the season. Martin O'Neill come in, steadied the ship, got us scoring a few goals, and then Wilfred Nancy come in with the same players. You know, there is one common denominator between the 3 managers that we've had this season, and the Celtic players are the ones that are missing goals. Now, when we go back to the game at the weekend, and 31 attempts at goal. I don't think that I've ever seen a game, when you think back to Celtic over the years, scoring 31 goals, having 31 shots at goal, you're usually talking about 5-0, 6-0. Now, you could say, look, we hit the post 4 times. If they all went in, you're talking it's an absolute gubbin Aberdeen. You're talking about a 7-0, a 7-1 victory, which would make it look a lot better. So is the manager getting too much stick at the moment for changing things? Or are we letting the players off with murder? That's the big question. Maybe that should be out. Who do you blame for the lack of goals? 5% have said the managers, 95% said the players. You can't blame 3 managers. You can't blame 3 managers for the fact that Celtic are not firing on all cylinders. And then there's the whole Rio Hatate question. And nobody, as we've squandered chances for years, end product is really poor at times. It is, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the amount of chances that Kyogo Furiashi missed, I mean, he probably missed 30 chances in a month. Who motivates the motivator? The missus. An old truth. Always comes back to her, doesn't it? Anyway. So, with other journalists jumping on the bandwagon, an American football player has taken to social media and he has bemoaned the Celtic players, not Wilfred Nancy. He says that, look, when you have a lack of cutting edge, like Celtic do, you've got to ask the simple question: at what point is it on the players? And as we've went through 3 managers now, it has to be the players that have to stand up and be counted. And maybe we do need a bigger change. Someone's going to get a scalpel one day. Yeah, and I hope it comes soon. I do hope it comes soon. 100% on the players. I think so. There's certain players at Celtic. We know the situation. There's players that want away. There's players that are not trying 100%. Dyson Maida's went through, and don't get me started on Dyson, because him coming out and saying, oh, it's cool, I want to stay to the end of the season. I want to wait till after the World Cup before I move. Since when have we allowed players to dictate to us? He's not a Henrik Larsson. He is definitely not a Henrik Larsson, and he should not be dictating to us when he will leave Celtic. I'm actually at the case where if a good offer comes in for Dyson Maeda in the next transfer window, take it. And if he refuses to go, well, we all know the type of player that he is. Because he is a man that he's not got out of first gear. Never mind trying to get into 6th gear. He's just not tried at all this season. And when the effort has been there, you can see how good he is. But he's went through games where he's looking like a player that's just going, I'm not wanting to get injured. And maybe his agents went, mate, you're not going to get a great move in this window. Wait till after the World Cup. That's his agent in his head saying this. The same player that wanted away, the same player that emptied his locker for 4 days at Celtic Park. Being strong, it's on the players, not the manager. Not seen Stephen Johnson for a couple of days. He's in hospital. I think he's doing okay. I know that he was in hospital. He's a key player, but he's not a Larsson. He's definitely not a Larsson, and he shouldn't be dictating to us. If it is him that's come out and said, I'm going to wait till after the World Cup, no, you're not, son. If an offer comes in, boom, get shot off. That's what I think. Take the money before the World Cup, he probably won't be there. His value will drop. Yeah, he probably won't perform there. He's not been getting a game for his national team. He's been on the bench, hasn't he? Wilfred needs about 6 to 8 new players, I would say. 2 wing backs, 2 strikers, and a 10 and a centre back. I think that we need a couple of centre backs, to be honest, going forward, just to play the system that the manager wants us to play. It is a slow news morning day, as they say, but other people have jumped on the bandwagon for Cammy Devlin. as Andy Halliday suggested, that Cammy Devlin could be a good player. I mean, Cammy Devlin, seriously? I thought he was a wee current bun. And would Celtic, I mean, how much would Hearts would be wanting decent money for him? I don't think that. I mean, is Cammy Devlin the. Still laughing for last night, so am I, just with a sore head. I mean, would you take seriously? I mean, is that how far that we went backwards at Celtic that we're thinking about Cammy Devlin? I mean, everyone's coming out and saying Cammy Devlin going to either Celtic or Rangers, and it just shows you how poor that both teams are. But Celtic do have. Oh, that's interesting because his contract he's only worth 1.2 million. Yeah, it's because he's shite. That's like so. Cammy Devlin's only worth around about 1.2 million, and his contract at Hearts runs out at the end of next season, and he's 27-year-old. Is Cammy Devlin better than what we've got at Celtic at the moment, or is it a case that Cammy Devlin would just be coming in just to do a job similar to Luke McCowan? I mean, that's the big question. Is he better than Luke McCowan? That's honest. That's the way that I would look at it. Or are we just you like that one, Mikey boy? I don't rate him at all. He's fucking honestly, man. If that's the way that we're going, 27-year-old Cammy Devlin at Celtic, lowering the standards. Are we not low? Fuck's sake, Cammy Devlin. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, he's. I think Luke McCown's better than him, but you know these people in the media that they get to have their little fantasies and think that he'd be a good for Celtic. We've got 102 votes. Who holds the blame, even though there's an S missing, for the lack of goals? I'm not going to be on long this morning, by the way. Way far too hungover for this nonsense this morning. 91% say the players. Right, let's jump into some of the comments because other than that, Peter Martin thinking that he knows everything about what's going on at Celtic. Writer, producer, and host of the football show, PLZ Soccer. Does he own that PLZ Soccer? Who knows? Wilfred Nancy, American football player, saying it's the players that are at fault. And various journalists are doubling down on the fact that the Celtic manager is still on his jacket, still on a slippery peg. It might be still on a slippery peg, but I mean, I think that the confidence from that win, I think that we all know that we should beat Livingston. I mean, when you look at the games going forward, we should beat Livingston. That other mob across the city are in a bad way. When you look at the fixtures, I mean, the big one coming up, obviously, is the Motherwell game. And if we do well against Motherwell, away to Motherwell is always a hard game. We've had some fantastic results at Motherwell over the years, but you know, Motherwell are in a fine vein of form. So getting the result against Livingston, you're thinking, yep, that'll be fine because we always get a big crowd at Livingston. Motherwell Fur Pack, you get the one bit behind the goal. And then it's on to the Rangers game in January. I mean, if the manager was to get full points in those games, it will change the attitude of everyone around the club. But if the worst thing happens and we lose any of those games, is it back to square one? Is Martin O'Neill getting ready to be flashed up like a Batman light to come over Celtic Park? I think we just run with it and see what happens, don't we? Will the manager still be there when we get to the Auchinleck Talbot game, of which we're going to have 9,000 fans at Rugby Park? Motherwell's the banana skin. Yeah, I think so. Lack of goals. Every single senior outfield player scored during this season. We destroyed front line. I think. I mean, there's no use going backwards, mate, on the fact that we've destroyed the front line in the last 2 years and Windows. Um, yes, the board are to blame for selling the players on, but the board aren't to blame for the lack of goals. You've still got players on the pitch that should be scoring, so anyway. Right, that's all I'm doing this morning. I'm just a quick one this morning. Let's finish up the poll. It is who holds the blame for the lack of goals, player or the manager? And there's 11% say the manager and 89% say the players. It's got 114 votes. That's all I'm doing this morning. We've got to win the next 2 games. Yes, we do that. I'm going to try typing Devlin. The comment suggested was decline. Yeah, that's true. We should decline. Anyway, I don't know if they'll be alive. They should be alive tonight. Maybe 8 o'clock Celtic part time. I won't be drunk tonight. That's for certainty. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.